The radius of the sun is 696,342 kilometers. When will Macball learn to do it right?
Mike, I think you should use software that allows you to draw yourself in-scale model. This will help you understand where you're making mistakes.
The sun is 100 times wider than the Earth, and 400 times wider than the moon. And it's 400 times further away from Earth than the moon. So if you use those scales in your drawings, maybe you'll start to understand. Adrenaline out! The sun is bigger than the Earth. It is 100 times wider than the Earth. Your argument is based on it being a fraction of the size of the Earth.
First of all, let me state emphatically that not one of you people know how far away the sun is, how big it is, what it's made of, or how it works. Your constant scolding about size and scale makes me laugh every time, because I know that you're merely parroting things you've been told but have never verified for yourself. You believe those things on nothing but blind faith in the people who have told them to you, apparently oblivious to the fact that those people don't actually know any of that stuff either. Instead, they were and are merely flawed human beings looking up at lights in the sky from the earth and making up stories about those lights. Secondly, let me say again what I said in the last video. What we know is that the sun and moon are the same angular size. So if I want to make a diagram with them being the same size, like we see them in the sky, I'm well within my rights to do so, since I'm not bound by the fanciful stories you guys believe and parrot back to others, and since you guys couldn't prove my diagrams wrong anyway. Thirdly, since I'm in the process of debunking the model you believe in on blind faith, I did make the sun huge towards the end of the video, and warned that it's only going to hurt you and help me by the time I'm done with this series. And lastly, I apologize if I didn't make it clear enough in the video, but every point I was making had to do with seeing the center of the sun. Okay, the basic premise is very simple. If you have three circles all centered on a horizontal line, then you cannot draw another straight line from the top of one through the middle of another and have it also go through the middle of the third, like this. And at the top of this one, if I move it to the center of this one, it's not going to go through the center of the third one. In fact, that was the entire point of quoting Nick Loam, who was not just a run-of-the-mill astronomer, but the curator of the Sydney Observatory for over 30 years and the author of many guides and books on astronomy. Because according to Nick, Bill and Jane could both see half of the sun without appealing to refraction from their spots on the surface of opposite sides of the world. And seeing half of the sun means seeing the center of the sun. And if they are seeing the center of the sun, then it matters not how big or far away you imagine the sun to be. You can imagine it to be 1 billion times bigger than the Earth and only twice as far away as the moon if you want, because the center of it is still going to be the same tiny spot in the middle of it, right? And the fact of the matter is that Bill and Jane would have to be looking through or around their horizons to see the center of the sun like Nick said they could. Yet our horizon is not only perfectly horizontal, but also the exact point that we can no longer see under. If we could see below our horizon, then whatever we're seeing below it would be our horizon. And I'm saying that's impossible, because if we draw horizontal lines from Bill and Jane's positions on the Earth, those horizontal lines will never intersect the center of the sun, allowing them to each see half of the sun at the same time from opposite sides of the Earth. Now, am I wrong? Or is Nick Loam, one of the top astronomers in the world, wrong? Because that's the only point I began to make in that last video, and I didn't even finish making the point yet. That's coming in a future video. But hopefully for now you guys can at least understand that the size of and distance to the sun plays no role in the matter, since we are only concerned with the center of the sun for right now.